Hey all, Ron here from Military Images Magazine with a new episode of Life on the Civil War Research Trail. You students of the Civil War know how the details we see in images of the era can open up new pathways to explore aspects of the conflict long forgotten and little remembered. This image of an unidentified soldier is a great example. He wants us to see his knapsack and the name of his organization stenciled right on the front. Thanks to him and this surviving image, our path begins during the war's second summer, after President Abraham Lincoln issued a call for 300,000 volunteers to put down the rebellion. Patriots across the northern states stepped forward to form companies. They included Hezekiah Bowen Jr., an upstate New York farmer who had resigned his position as town supervisor of Ridgeway in Orleans County to join the war effort. Bowen, 41 years old, received authority from the adjutant general to recruit a company of independent riflemen. The quota of 100 men was soon filled, and with the noblest of the county, so one account goes, for with only two or three exceptions, it was composed of American born boys, having had good advantages and education, mostly sons of well to do farmers. It was dubbed the Top Buggy Company in view of so many being able to take young ladies out in top buggies. That's according to one of the recruits of the regiment. That same recruit added, "We bought our own guns, Sharps rifles. You can see he's holding one here, each paying over $40 a piece for them. The ladies of Ridgeway presented us a very handsome silk flag embroidered Bowen's independent rifles, and certainly we were the pride of our officers and the envy of other officers." Back to our portrait of this unidentified member of the company cradling his Sharps rifle. He's got his thumb on the hammer. It captures the pride of the regiment, the company, and the regiment that recruit was speaking to. We know that he belongs to that company because, as I mentioned, of that stenciled knapsack, right on it, it's a Gray's brand, gutta percha knapsack, and you can see it on the front, Bowen's independent rifles. And then we add the regiment's number, the 151st Regiment New York Volunteers. That's the regiment that the independent rifles became part of, losing its independence, but becoming Company A of the 151st. This event, the mustering in to the regiment, occurred on October 22nd, 1862, along with its now brother companies, and thus began the regiment's service. There's much more to learn. Ordered to Baltimore and then on to the Middle Department, the 151st and other units in the 8th Corps participated in operations following the Gettysburg Campaign in Virginia, including the Mine Run Campaign, where Company A played a memorable role, according to the regiment's historian. Company A, having Sharps breech loading rifles, was ordered on the skirmish line. After half an hour, the rebel column advanced and we fell back to our line of battle. Our men rose from the ground and then commenced what was later claimed to have been one of the sharpest musketry duels of the war. So much for the regimental history's comment on the Mine Run campaign. The 151st experienced its most intense combat and significant losses, not in the Mine Run campaign, but in 1864, after the Army transferred the regiment to Major General James B. Ricketts' 3rd Division of the 6th Corps, the hard-fighting 6th Corps. They took their share of casualties in the fighting during the Wilderness, Spotsylvania, North Anna, Cold Harbor, and elsewhere. But the most significant loss occurred when Lieutenant General Ulysses S. Grant hurried the Sixth Corps to Washington, D.C. to protect the capital from Confederate General Jubal Early's forces. At the Battle of the Monocacy on July 9th, 1864, the 151st suffered 118 killed, wounded, and missing men. Though that battle went down in the annals of military history, and as you students of the Civil War know, as a Union loss, historians agree that the Federals slowed down Early's troops, buying enough time for the rest of the Sixth Corps to get to Washington ahead of the enemy. A member of the regiment recalled the Battle of the Monocacy. July 9th will ever be remembered by the surviving members of the 2,100 men arrayed against the 30,000 seasoned troops under General Early at Monocacy. One of the most fierce, wild, savage, furious, violent, excessively earnest engagements of the Civil War was fought at Monocacy. General Early's army was victorious, so unexpected and so rapid were the Confederate general's movements that he was in sight of the dome of the Capitol before his cleverly conceived plans were fully realized. When the roar of Early's guns was heard and the telegraph announced that he had defeated Lew Wallace at Monocacy Bridge, the heart of the North quivered with emotion as it contemplated the defenselessness of Washington. This daring campaign against Washington and its skillful execution caused a rude awakening in the North, then impatiently waiting for Grant to take Richmond. Both Washington and Baltimore were in a state of panic, while gold went up to its highest point, a run on gold. The capture of Washington meant diplomatic complications of a most serious nature, with foreign powers awaiting for a plausible pretext for dismemberment of the Union. The 3rd Division of the Sixth Corps, including the 151st, which had been detached by the way of Baltimore, contributed mainly to the delay of Early's forces at Monocacy, and that delay proved important in connection with the timely arrival of the other Sixth Corps divisions. Another member of the regiment had this to add. It will be remembered by all the comrades that after we were driven from the field at Monocacy, we fell back to Baltimore, marching all night and all next day, reaching Ellicott Mills about sundown on the 10th. From there, we took the cars to Baltimore. We found the city in much confusion, and the militia, including Negroes, male and female, all out in the forts. Remained there only a short time and then went to Washington, where we received 2 or 3 months' pay, then started on a campaign which consisted of marching, camping, and skirmishing up to August the 11th, when we fought a battle at Winchester, then were engaged again at the Opequon Creek, September 19th, and then again at Fisher's Hill, September 22nd, then Cedar Creek, October 18th. No stopping for these men of the 151st. The regiment eventually returned to the front lines of Petersburg, where they were before they were detached to fight at the Monocacy, and went on to take part in the final attacks on the city's defenses, and then went on to fight in the Appomattox campaign that, of course, ended with the surrender by General Robert E. Lee of the Army of Northern Virginia. When statisticians recorded the final results, the 151st participated in 30 engagements, about 1 in 5 men and officers, 205 in total, made the ultimate sacrifice in combat or by disease. The fate of the man pictured here is currently unknown. We don't know who he is. You might be wondering what became of Captain Bowen. Wounded in the arm at Cold Harbor, he ended his service with a lieutenant colonel's brevet. He melted back into society and settled in Medina, a town just a few miles south of Ridgeway. Active in agricultural pursuits, he was a farmer, remember, He was also involved in the Grand Army of the Republic, like so many veterans were, and a regular at the regimental reunions. He died in 1902 at age 81 from kidney disease. His widow, Callista, and a daughter, Helena Adelaide Bowen Howell, survived him. Helena becomes important in the story because she went on to compile the reminiscences of those veterans who served alongside her father, and they were published in the 1911 book Chronicles of the 151st Regiment, New York State Volunteer Infantry, 1862 to 1865. The last page of Helena's book pays tribute to those who served. The headline: Encomium of the Press. Encomium, praise. The following is a letter published in the Rochester Union, June 28, 1865, addressed to the editor, G. Cooper, from a friend at the front. Few, if any, regiments have seen harder and more severe service than the 151st New York Volunteers, composed almost wholly of young and gallant men who went forth when the storm was raging fiercest and the waves of rebellion and disunion rolled the highest. The regiment has been pressed to the front of the line and stationed in the thickest of the fight. It became a part of the 6th Corps, the gallant 6th, and its history stands forth in bright and dazzling letters upon the page that bears the record of the noble deeds of that immortal organization. Following the sometimes leading the bloody trail of war through the wilderness and, in rapid strokes for freedom, pressing on to Richmond, first to mount the rebel strongholds at Cold Harbor, and first on many hard fought fields, battling with vastly superior numbers at Monocacy, and in hot pursuit of the retreating invaders through Maryland and up the valley, storming the works at Petersburg, and with Sheridan scattering to the four winds of heaven the flower of Southern chivalry. The 151st has valiantly sustained its reputation. In the highest niche of fame, it has placed a glorious record, while above it, in letters of light and gold, shine the inscription, the sentiment of a grateful people. Well done, noble 151st. Thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next episode of Life on the Civil War Research Trail.